Obviously this is the sander. 3 months that I've been using it for. Is a bit heavy when used with one hand, but as I say, I've managed it. You alright? Happy New Year to you all. I thought we've had a couple of canny good weeks. Obviously I haven't done anything, I've taken time off, but back to the videos now. And if you can hear a noise in the background, it's my heater fan, because it is quite cold at the moment. Back in September, I did a video on my unboxing of my new Makita sander. Obviously this is the sander. Today is the follow-up review of that video because it's roughly been about 3 months that I've been using it for. In this review I'll also go through some limitations that I have found when I'm sanding, but that's usually down to my own personal setup. The overall handling, I've got to say, is excellent. Even if you're using it with one hand, you can still control it very well. It is a bit heavy when used with one hand, but as I say, I've managed it no problem whatsoever. It does depend on what your setup is like. If you've got a better setup than what I've got for basically clamping down the wood, that's the main issue I have. I mean, I've tried a non-slip mat, which I thought would resolve all my issues. It doesn't, but it does help in some ways. But just to show how good the sander is, let's do a couple of tests. So as you can see, I've got a bit of scrap set up on a black sack. Reason for that is because this will also show the dust collection. At the moment I've got on the sander an 80 grit pad and no dust hose set up. So I mean, as you can even see from that, there's very little dust. And you saw how I had a control of it just by using one hand, and that's fine when you're only using small bits. So vibration issues, if you use the sander correctly with both handles, there's very little vibration. You do get a bit by using one hand, or if you have it on the top palm bit, there is some there, but it's not severe, and I think I could use this for a good few hours without having any issues whatsoever. Dust extraction. Okay, so you've seen my first little experiment, just using a bit of pine. There was very little dust. I'm keeping the same 80 grit pad on, but this time I'm using a bit of, I think it's a fencing post. And I'll hook that up to the dust extractor, and again we'll see what it's like. I know from what I've been using the sander that I've had no issues with dust at all. In case you're wondering what I'm connecting the sander to the vacuum with, it's just one of these little adapters which you can get off Amazon or any decent hardware shop. Right, so you might think I was cheating a bit by letting the black sack go flying. It wasn't intentional, but as you can see there's only really minute bits of dust, which you've got to be happy with if you're using this sort of sander. So again, to touch on the abrasive discs I've been using, it's just these Merca ones, which I got from Axminster Tools. They've been really good. I've also used Makita's own 120 grit pad that came with the sander. That's been fine to use. All of them have reduced absolutely next to no dust whatsoever. So I mean, I think those results that you've just seen there speak for themselves. The sander in itself is excellent, especially for the money. If you consider I paid £112.48 for it, and the high-end sanders like the Merca and the Festival, well, the Merca is about £500. I am so glad that I didn't go and get one of those ones, even though they might be a bit more comfortable to use, but this for me is definitely worth the value for money. So if you're looking for a mid-range random orbital sander, definitely consider this one. It has my seal of approval, if that's anything to go by. And if you enjoyed this video, then please do remember to like and subscribe. I've got quite a few projects lined up for this year, They should definitely see me into early February, and then I'll go from there looking at some other ones. If you haven't already seen it, here's my previous video where I owned up to the mistakes I made from my tea light candle holder video, because we all make mistakes. So with that, I'll see you next time.